This past October, I was talking to this girl I met at a party a month prior. For the purpose of this story, she'll be named Nikki. We had been talking and hanging out, like once a week, for a few weeks. She wanted to do a bunch of October activities, so I came up with the idea that we go apple picking. She loved it. So we hopped in the car to take a trip to the nearest apple picking orchard, which was about a half-hour drive away, out of the suburbs to the more rural part of the area. We live in Jersey, so there's an abundance of places to go, but I let her pick where. It said we were still about 20 minutes away, and we were driving down a scenic road with little to no traffic. We actually passed what appeared to be another apple orchard, so we turned down this dirt road up to a small wooden farm-like house, but there were no cars, no people, not even a little stand where people would go to pay to enter. It seemed it wasn't open for business, or maybe it just wasn't open to the public at all. The house was very poorly kept. It almost looked as though nobody lived there. As we walked around the property, Nikki said she felt uncomfortable, so we got back in the car and continued the route to the originally planned destination. However, when we got there, this one was also void of people, though this one at least had a closed sign at the stand. I told her, what if we went back to that first orchard that looked almost abandoned and just go picking there? We'd have the whole place to ourselves. At first, she was hesitant, but I convinced her. So I drove us back and found a low-key place to park on the grass by the woods. We walked through the crushing leaves on the dirt path. We were trying to be discreet. That was out the window. There was a little wooden fence we had to hop, but it was easy. Once inside, we were hidden by the symmetrical rows of thick apple trees, but our feet were also covered in tall grass up to our shins. We started walking down the row of trees, filling the plastic bags we brought from my car with the best apples we could find, though admittedly there weren't many. There was a certain thrill in doing this, knowing we weren't supposed to. We had some fun with it. I would start launching apples up in the air, and then I would start pretending like I was going to throw apples at Nikki, and she started screaming, running off telling me to stop. She cut through a couple of trees to another row, and when I got to the other side, I didn't see her. "Where are you?" I said. She called back, "I'm picking my own apples," and she actually sounded like she was a few rows over. I apologized, laughing, telling her I'd stop, but she didn't answer. I spent a few minutes trying to find her, and suddenly an apple landed right in front of me, which had been tossed from one of the rows nearby. Then another one landed close by. I yelled, "Stop!" because I was actually afraid of getting hit in the head. I ran through a couple of trees, and each row I'd pass, I'd look left and right trying to find Nikki. I went down this row and went through the first couple of trees I could fit through to get to the next side. I looked left, and I actually felt like my heart launched up into my throat because there was some guy, a young guy like 18 or 19 years old with long black hair to his shoulder, standing in the center of the row maybe 5 trees away from me. It looked like he had a slight smirk on his face. He didn't move, so I did. I squeezed through to the next row, and then the next. Then Nikki called my phone. I picked up in a hurry, whispered, "Where are you?" She sounded like she was in a panic. She said into the phone, there was a creepy guy following her around. She tried talking to him, but he wouldn't say anything. And he looked like he wanted to hurt her. And her description of him matched the guy I just saw. I told her to meet me back at the car. I ran the way back, and Nikki was already waiting at the car. We stopped to discuss what just happened, but Nikki yelled, "There he is," and pointed in front of us. I looked, and I could see him. He was half hidden by an apple tree. I could only see his left arm, left leg, and half his face. The way he was just creepily spying on us, I had to get us away. I did a 3-point turn off the grass, onto the dirt road. We passed the decrepit, barn-like house, and got back on the road. We talked over possibilities. Maybe he lived there. We passed by a fruit stand on the side of the road with a few people working on it. Nikki and I lost our apple bags, so we figured we'd at least stop here. We picked up some apples and berries, and I just had to ask them about the apple orchard down the road. The 2 ladies working the fruit stand proclaimed nobody should ever go anywhere near there. The owner's son had killed his girlfriend and then disappeared. Her body was found near the orchard, in the forest. The dad still owns the orchard to this day, but he hardly ever returns and doesn't keep up with the police. We practically jumped in their faces as we asked them to describe the son, but they had never seen him and don't know anything about him. I admitted to them that we went apple picking on the property and some creepy young man was following us. The two women said that it was best that we got out of there when we did. They also kind of scolded us for not calling the police. However, one of the ladies said she was going to warn the police. On the drive home, as Nikki spoke to me about it, everything she said really went in one ear and out the other because I really thought to myself, did we actually run face to face with a missing murderer in an apple orchard? I still get chills wondering if that guy is still out there in that orchard.